Alright. Hey everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go over the most recent patch notes that as of May 7th. The weekend deal on the Gatling laser and combat helmet is now over. So we'll have to wait until next month before I do another similar deal. With that said, that doesn't mean that new content isn't being rolled out at a regular basis. So I'm going to go over the patch notes real quick and also kind of take a look at some of the feedback that's been kind of pointed out. Most of the game's feedback right now is actually about the UI, but I'll get to that after I get through the patch notes. So so now I'm down to only needing to art out 2 more starting areas. So 2 of 4 starting levels have been fully arted out, and I can actually float around the actual level and not just look at the screenshots. I can actually show you what the level now looks like in its currently arted out state. This patch is currently live right now. So this means that this level and this level are now both arted out completely. I think there's a couple of things that I still want to do to this map, but for the most part, I'm probably going to start on the next map. Like, I forgot about getting this guy right here. But for the most part, these 2 maps are ready to go pretty much. That includes their the auto map and everything like that. So so I'm just kind of doing the fly through on this. Now there's actually one more really big update to the game. This is actually pretty significant, even though the change itself is relatively simple. I've added an easy mode, and I'm going to go into detail about that easy mode and how it works and what it is and everything like that. And maybe what I'm going to plan to do with it in the future regarding a few different things. But I like this room, actually. Kind of like it's a little bit different from the other rooms now, and its arted state kind of has a little bit more of a techie feel to it, so it kind of stands out from the other side of the map a little bit. It's going to be hard to have these many levels and make sure that each room feels different. So with that said, now the easy mode aspect. Let me go and take a look real quick. So, easy mode helmet. Is the game just a bit too hard for you? Well, here's your chance to equip this easy helmet. The easy mode helmet, I should probably say. It modifies the following things. The helmet has godly stats. It certainly does. It doubles your action points, gives you 60% like damage buff. So like you just right out of the gate, you have double your action points. And you have, which by itself right there, like that's massive. That's a massive boost if you decide to wear the helmet. And you get pretty decent resistances as well. So I can actually load up the hub area and show the stats of this bad boy. So it's just sitting in the sanctuary area. It's just sort of sitting up here. Alright. Now you see how I have up in the corner here it says how many deaths I have? Right? Well, you go into this, and you take a look at it. You go, okay, I'm level 10. It's automatically a legendary at all times. It would give me 958 armor, which right now, my entire suit of armor, all of it, I have almost full, this is full combat armor, legendary, which is the absolute max gear. You can't get better than this suit right here. Other than maybe Hermes boots instead of combat boots. Right? This one helmet has almost as much armor by itself. The defense is 319, which is more than twice as much as what I have currently right now, just on this one piece. 30 poison resistance, 30 fire resistance. Combat armor gives me lightning and poison, which, I mean, poison is the green balls that the hell beasts shoot at you, so that's pretty good, but almost nothing in the game currently right now uses lightning damage. So, yeah, like, this helmet's stats are just fucking crazy. So, AP plus 638, right? Currently, right now, just this one helmet gives me 638 more action points. I currently have 19,000 or 1,900. So, like, let's see. And this suit actually gives me AP to begin with. So let's see, doesn't really give me very much AP. Yeah, 1,900. So this would give me 2,500-ish action points just for equipping it. That's really big. That's a really high amount. But its attack is 383, which is basically your DPS increase on weapons, you know, that have high DPS. Like it's how much more damage you can do per second using that weapon, right? That's a lot. That's a lot for one weapon, for one piece of armor. So here's the thing though. So as soon as you put the, you know, it can't be reversed. So as soon as you put the armor on, as soon as you put the easy mode hat on, boom, easy mode is now activated, right? Now I can take the helmet off, and I'm still in easy mode. So there are other things that get turned on once you're in easy mode, and easy mode cannot be deactivated once you activate it. So once you put that helmet on, it's easy mode from now on. Even if you take the helmet off and drop it somewhere, doesn't matter. So some of the other changes that the easy mode helmet do, you can never leave easy mode once you activate it. You'll have to begin a new character to get out of easy mode. You will gain 3x as much from armor regeneration. In other words, like when you grab a piece of body armor, the body armor gives you that little white line down here. And then that white line will become your armor, right? Which is the yellow bar. I'm redoing all this stuff so that it's clearer and everything like that, but that's basically it, right? Well, in normal mode, you only get like a certain amount, and it's not nearly as much. So like once easy mode is activated, you get 3 times as much armor. So like one body piece can actually almost fill your armor up halfway, depending on how much armor you actually have, like whatever your maximum is. So that's actually pretty big right there. Let's see. All monsters will spawn 2 levels lower no matter what mission you run. So even if, so you can kind of do like a combination easy mode, where it's just easier, where you have more armor and all the monsters spawn 2 levels lower. Now you're probably thinking 2 levels lower is probably not that, you know, not that much, but it's actually around 40% difference. Actually, it's closer to 50% because it's 25%. Yeah, like, basically these guys are doing half damage to you. In other words, you're doing 50% more damage to them, and they're doing 50% less damage to you. That's what this means. So, even in the case though, like if you're doing Revulsion or if you're doing Iron Man, this means that it's gonna only be what, 14, 13. They're all gonna be level 13 on Iron Man, which is a hell of a lot more manageable than dealing with mobs that are all in the 15, you know, in the 15 range, right? And some of them will even be higher than that if you get far enough into Iron Man. Some of the monsters are actually going to be like level 17 and shit, where you're basically, if you don't have a legendary gun, you're not going to do any damage to them. Some of the monsters can be so strong that a standard weapon will do 1 damage. It will do the absolute minimum amount of damage possible, and you'll run out of ammo trying to kill it. It's so it matters quite a bit. Limited lives mechanic will be disabled even on Revulsion difficulty. So no limited lives ever. So if you're looking for just like a slight boost and you don't wanna have to like be like this god with like unbelievably high tier gear, with this crazy helmet that like gives you absurd stat bonus, you can do that. You can put the helmet on and then you can just take the helmet off and throw it somewhere. It's not worth anything, and it's weightless. And there's always another one. There's always going to be another one just sitting here. So if you ever change your mind, you can just go and grab it. So I can just go ahead and put my combat helmet back on, and now I'm in sort of a quasi semi easy mode, sort of like somewhere in between where I still have to worry about gearing up my helmet and everything like that. So somewhere in the between, I mean that's the intention. So if you want to do super duper easy mode, then you just leave the helmet on and pretty much destroy everything. I just got some feedback on it actually from Artemis. Let me turn the music off. Actually, let me just get out of this. Okay. I ran a breakout on Supply Run Depot Revulsion difficulty with the easy mode hat. The biggest thing I realized is how stressful it can be to have limited lives. I had fun. It uh, it got me some of the silly jumping and running I had missed, trying to be absolutely perfect on every room. Yeah. It was very much easier. It's much easier about how you spend your time. I like a struggle, and of course, I want others to as well, but I'm putting the red rope around my vision and saying that the only real difference is time spent. The only other game I've played with challenge similar to yours was Time Splitters 2. I'm happy it's an option. Yeah. I agree, actually. I think I probably should have done the easy mode hat. It's kind of inspired a little bit, and Zombie Doll has this idea where it would be called the Easy Cheesy hat, and it'll just be like a little piece of cheese next to your thing. Right now, it's just called the easy mode helmet. It's very, very flat, generic, but it'll probably be a cheese hat or like a fucking like a cheese wedge or something. It'll be the Easy Cheesy hat, which I think will be kind of funny. I might. I don't like having all this text on the HUD, which I'll get to that in a second after I get a little bit more of this feedback because there's a lot of really good stuff. So the two locations, the very beginning of the game, the easy mode hat is available inside of Sanctuary. The easy mode, and I showed you where that is right there. Combat hat, Gatling laser no longer available this month. I don't know what I'm gonna do next month just yet. I added a small amount of deceleration to character movement, roughly equal to acceleration. So over on the discussions, I noticed there's a lot of there's a whole bunch of stuff here, and one of the things I wasn't even aware of this is the first thing you noticed was that the movement felt really bad. There's an incredibly slow acceleration time, incredibly slow. I wouldn't describe it as incredibly slow, but it is definitely there. There is no deceleration. At first, I was like, of course there's deceleration. Nope, turns out there isn't. So when you actually play the game now, there's actually a deceleration. Your character slides a little bit. It's kind of hard to see it because it's very subtle, but on that feedback as well. And then there was also secondly, the enemy projectiles are a little too fast. I thought about making the projectiles a tiny bit slower in easy mode or something like that. The thing is, though, is I'm holding back. I'm pushing back on the projectiles being too fast thing because he's definitely Pizzuts over here is not the only one who has mentioned this. This is something that I see fairly often, and I'm kind of pushing back because one of the things that I want people to do is to gear up to move faster. Like I how like it's sometimes like if you want to tank a certain kind of raid or if you want to gear for a certain kind of situation. You need a minimum amount of this and you need a minimum amount of that. Or like Dark Souls is actually probably one of the better examples, where if you fat roll, if you have too much armor and your character doesn't have enough endurance for that armor, you're basically gonna fat roll, and like your rolls will be tiny and you won't have any iframes and stuff like that. Revulsion's variation of that is how much movement you have. Like if you have anything under 1,000, anything under 900 is probably minimum. Like if you're below 800 movement, then your character's just lethargic. You're basically one of the you better have some armor. You better have fucking bulwark shield or something, because you're not outrunning shit. But if you're over 1,000 UPS, you feel a much easier time dodging even the chain gunners and stuff. Like he can just open up on you, and if you're good at moving and circle strafing, he can't touch you. Even in a room with nothing to hide behind, he can't hit you if you're over 1,000 UPS. And then it's a little bit more skill based on that respect, because now you have more movement. With power comes responsibility, and that's kind of the idea. And also too, like, I just like the idea that you have to kind of be ready for the projectile before it gets fired at you as well. You can't just be like, see the projectile and then dodge it. You kind of have to be kind of ready. And then there's sort of like an ebb and flow to the movement where you can kind of dodge, and every once in a while a shot's still going to get through anyway, just because you might have predicted a little bit wrong. Like, the prediction should be pretty hard. But anyway, I think enemy projectile speed should come down so that dodging in between shots is a viable strategy. I think that once you have the movement, you should be able to dodge the shots, and it's really mostly just up to you on how to do that. Next thing I want to mention, enemy visibility. I get the game is supposed to be dark, but poor visibility is no excuse for a dark game, like, in my personal opinion. And this is definitely one of those things where it's just like, alright, poor visibility just sucks. There's no okay, like, it's dark or something like that. I don't like having poor visibility. There isn't much you have to do for this, since some of the enemies that glow, the red ones that explode. So right now the enemies have glowing eyes, and you'll notice it's pretty noticeable. I could probably show it pretty quickly if I just run the trial right now. Get in here. See, if I was in easy mode, this white bar, there's currently actually a bug that I need to write down. For some reason, armor regen doesn't work right away. Armor regen doesn't kick in until you take damage. It's a little strange. But if I was playing on easy mode, the bar my armor would fill up a lot more. Let me get something that I can kind of damage myself with. Okay, cool. There you go. Now the armor regen should just kick in. Takes a second. And it's not taking. It's a little strange. I'll have to look into whatever's causing this bug, but my armor will regen during combat. Okay, so see how his eyes are glowing? But the easiest ones to notice these guys. Now, you'll notice too, the shot tech destroys chain gunners and zombies in general. It's a lightning-based shotgun. It's one of the only elemental shotguns in the game. Whoa! see the demon's eyes? Yeah. So the enemies have this sort of glowing eye effect going on. And the weakest zombies, their brains glow instead of their eyes. It's a little weird. It's like their brains are glowing. Let's see. Most enemies don't show up in the dark. You could literally just add glowing eyes. I should probably do more than glowing eyes if poor visibility is an issue still. So let me know on that, Pizoots. Another thing is that the grenade enemies, grenades some sort of glow. I've already talked to Gunschlinger about this a while back. This was like ages ago, and he suggested that the grenades should actually kind of have a little beeping sound or something too, where they're like beep 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 boom, you know, and they explode. Yeah, the grenade visibility has always been an issue. Maybe they could have some kind of a glow to the grenade or something. Finally, I'd like to talk about weapon accuracy. I don't understand the point of having weapons be less accurate when you're moving. Now, movement doesn't affect accuracy at all. It would be the other way around, because aim down sight slows your character down. And only some of the guns in the game are affected by aim down sight. For the most part, all of the aim down sight, like on all of the shotguns and stuff like that. Well, actually, most of the guns in the game, period. Like, I think on this character, the Magnum is the only gun I have that's actually affected by aim down sight. So if you don't use the Magnum, you never have to worry about it. And aim down sight does affect your movement, but I just use it as sort of like a, you know, like a little bit more of a fine tune. You know, you can kind of, because like if you're moving like at full speed, it's just a little easier to zoom in and kind of keep moving and get an easy, you know, look at what you're doing. I just feel like it feels better to have a little slowdown when you aim down sight. But like all the other guns, even though the crosshair blooms, you see the bloom on the crosshair, that's just to indicate your UPS. Yeah, I'm moving, you know, it's more or less just to see how the game actually feels. But otherwise, your accuracy is completely and utterly unaffected, literally like an arena shooter. You know, here's a rocket launcher, like. Now there is a tiny cone with the rocket launcher, but for the most part it's like so small that it probably really doesn't affect very much. The SMG especially, you know, like I could be literally flying around and just... Of course there's other aspects too. For example, there are abilities that increase your accuracy, like Eagle Eye and stuff like that. And Eagle Eye is a really good one. If you like, I'm actually trying this on my current playthrough right now, going with an SMG Eagle Eye sniper rifle build. So you have like an auto pistol, actually not even an SMG. I'm talking about auto pistol and going with Eagle Eye, right? And like auto pistol just recently got a buff where the auto pistol is really accurate, right? But you see how the some weapons, the crosshair actually does bloom as you're firing. You'll notice that with the Gatling laser. There's a few guns where you'll actually see the crosshair get wider. But if you Eagle Eye, you notice that the crosshair is now just like, I have a laser. I can headshot the motherfucking hell out of anything across the room with an auto pistol. And there's also, you can also gear for accuracy as well. So if like the accuracy thing is like a problem with, or if it's something that you know really feels, you feel that you just dislike about the mechanics of the game or something like that, you can actually trivialize it greatly by gearing and using abilities for it. Or at least that's the idea. Anyway, yeah, movement doesn't affect your accuracy with any of the guns. None of the guns actually affect accuracy like that. I hope, to all this, everything but the player feels like it's way too fast. Yeah, especially if you're only at 800 UPS, I can definitely see like all the enemies are faster than you, all the projectiles are too quick. I definitely can see that. I responded to this and everything like that. And with those kinds of things, like yeah, like I can't stress enough. Try gearing for sprinters and stuff. Try going for Hermes boots if you can find them. They're in the secret in the first unique tile, which is the final level of the first mission. Search for secrets. They are hidden. You might have to bring a pickaxe if you don't have an explosive weapon to, break down some blocks. Let's see. There was some more. There's actually YouTube feedback on the community side of things. Now, most of the feedback, actually, the brunt of the feedback with the game so far has been around adding options to the HUD, making it so that visibility is better, and I've been thinking about all kinds of stuff as far as like improving the actual HUD, because I put up a video, basically kind of, I guess you could just say it was bragging about the mini map being probably one of the best ones to show up in a first person shooter, and it's interesting to note that the HUD is like just an information dump with all kinds of stuff all over the place, and if you compare it to most other first-person shooters, the HUDs are very simple. And in Revulsion, the HUD is actually fairly complicated, um, and I think it could be brought down quite a bit. I might aim to make it something a little bit closer to like Destiny or one person even said Jib Hard. So this game has a really amazing art direction. And if you look at it here, there's health, armor, money. Here's the ammo. You know what I mean? Like, that's just simple, right? Um, but if you look at like Destiny, let's take a look at this. Like, here's your experience point bar, or is that your action points? I'm not sure. And like instead of having floating text necessarily, I could just do like a little thing right here where numbers appear at the back of the bar. I was actually kind of experimenting a little bit too with like just looking in general at like things like the way the Overwatch HUD is simple as well. Yeah, the HUD's got to get updated. There's got to be more to do with that. So anyway, small amount of deceleration in character movement. All enemies now have glowing eyes. Gem transmutes should be more common drops during trial battles. Definitely cool. The gem transmutes being more common. There was a bug in the loot table, and I fixed it. So now, when you kill stuff, you should be able to get actual gems. Gem transmutes, in other words, the transmutes are the crafting recipes that you get, which are basically just blueprints that allow you to transform raw animus into a gem of your choice. So, okay, so I think that's everything except, yeah, I think that's everything. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. There will be more updates. I will probably have another patch this week. The game is getting like two patches a week on average at the moment. And usually like a little hot fix or a simple patch during the middle of the week or something like that is pretty common as well, where it's like somebody mentions, oh, this is broken, and I just like fix it, or I'm probably gonna do something about these because that didn't look as good as I thought it would. Um, it looks pretty bad. I'm gonna probably rework the art on those and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. So hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. All that.